Ian Carroll, the conspiracy theorist, he's making videos about the conspiracy behind Red Lobster, the conspiracy behind Applebee's, the conspiracy behind Burger King. He does a live stream tonight and says, where are you, Nick? We're all aligned on this against the Jews, and you are agreeing with Crowder and Tim Pool and everybody else. We need you. Why are you with them? And I would say with Ian Carroll, where's the evidence? What even is that?
I'm going to show you guys exactly how Ian Carroll responds to Nick Fuentes. As we know, I'm a huge Nick Fuentes supporter, but the real thing about me that comes out is I will critique any side, regardless if I support you, if I agree with what you're saying or not. And you would think the one top person who critiques Israel, that is Nick Fuentes, would be the most outspoken in regards to Charlie Kirk, his assassination, and what this administration has been telling us, which are just obvious lies. Because as we know, many people, military, even people who knew the location of where the killer supposedly was, like he wasn't even at the location. The bullet would have went through him, and I was told a lot more would have happened to Charlie Kirk. There's just too many irregularities that Ian Carroll is going to go in, which we're going to react to right after this video. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys on Team Nick, who thinks that this guy did assassinate Charlie Kirk and that there is no foreign government corruption or foreign government that was involved in it? Because I tend to land on Candace Owens. And again, Nick, he is my top dog that I get my news from, but he is 100% wrong in this situation. And a lot of people in the comment section on his Rumble, X, etc., are going off on him for this. Like, you are the guy. This is your time to shine. And instead, you are defending the foreign governments, which it seems right now with what Candace has been presenting to the forefront, it does seem that Egyptian government mixed with Israel government took out Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk was having an awakening with Israel. That's just facts.
Everything other than evidence. They're going to say, well, Israel kills everybody else. Okay, people die all the time, actually. People die all the time, and there are a lot of school shootings and assassinations. This stuff happens with regularity. Was Israel behind Luigi Mangione? Why or why not? Was Israel behind the school shooting in Colorado that happened on the same day? Why or why not? Was Israel behind the shooting of Trump? Why or why not? I don't know if any of those people blamed Israel.
How he's responding shows that he has not seen any of the videos that Ian Carroll and Candace Owens has put out about the death of Charlie Kirk. This just proves it right here, that he has not watched any of them.
For the shooting of Trump. Was Israel behind the Las Vegas shooting? Why or why not? Because the heuristic seems to be Israel is behind literally everything. Literally everything. Not most things, not things we can demonstrate with evidence. No, they're behind literally everything. And if they're behind literally everything in the past, then it's safe to assume they're behind literally everything in the future. And that is ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Charlie Kirk was Israel's top guy. I don't know how much more clear you can make it. And here's a perfect example. Hey, Ian Carroll, why did you on September 7th of this year tweet at Charlie Kirk, you're working for the Jews that killed Jesus? On September 7th, 2025, you tweeted that Charlie Kirk is working for the Jews that killed Jesus. On September 11th, you were absolutely certain that Israel killed him because he was this close to telling the truth, and he died for it. So what changed in those 4 days exactly?
There was text exposed, Nick Fuentes, that he actually came out and said that he thought Israel was going to take him out days before it happened. He denied the, $150 million payout from Israel and Mossad to push Israel propaganda. He was having his awakening. This has happened days before he was taken out. How can you not connect the dots and still be just short-tempered to not critique the one group of people that you critique the most? Like, you were the dog that started all this, and now he's defending them. It's like he got the call from Mossad. It is not a good look. And it sucks because I agree with mostly everything Fuentes says, but not a good look on this take.
What irrefutable proof did you get In those 4 days, on September 7th, you said Charlie Kirk is working for the Jews that killed Jesus. On September 11th, the day after he was killed, you were certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Israel killed him to silence him. How does that even happen? Before we had a suspect, before we knew any of the facts, any of it, you knew for sure they did it. So do you have ESP? Are you omniscient? Do you have telepathy? I don't think so. This is a grift. This is a grift. It is intellectually lazy. It is dishonest. You are making assumptions that you cannot rationally make. And if you want to destroy your credibility, that's fine. If you want to destroy your credibility by blaming Israel for killing the...
I'm sorry, but Nick, you are the only one destroying your credibility by giving this insane take.
#1 Israel defender in America, that is your business. But don't try to rope me into it and guilt me or whatever it is you're trying to do, saying we're all on this side and you're over there. I've been over here, bro. Where were you? I've been over here. I was at Charlottesville, lest I remind you. Where were you in 2017? Were you at Burning Man? Sorry, were you in some commune in Portland? I was at Charlottesville in 2017. He goes, we're all over here fighting the good fight. You and who? You and Candace Owens, who was working at Daily Wire last year? You and Candace Owens, who was working at Daily Wire. You and Tucker Carlson, who was working at Fox News. In 2017, 10 years ago, I was at Charlottesville. In 2019, I led the Groyper War against Charlie Kirk, calling him an Israel shill. It is 2025. Nothing has changed. For 13 years, from the time Charlie founded Turning Point until today, that organization was owned by Israel and served Israel. And
not actually true. Candace has already exposed it. He denied the $150 million contract that Israel sent him. This is just not true. God, this is going to be the death of him. He's going to lose so much credibility in this exact situation and topic. Yet he goes on Crowder and continues the same BS talking points. This administration has given us zero proof behind their words that Tyler Robinson was the killer. There's just no proof. Sad day for Nick Fuentes.
Everyone knows that. In June of this year, Charlie texted Dinesh D'Souza and said, Nick Fuentes is vermin. We've been fighting him for 6 years. He's anti-Semitic. In August, he said, I'm anti-Semitic garbage and I need to be censored and he would never debate me. That was in August. People want to point out, oh, well, he was leaning in the other direction. He wasn't leaning in the other direction. His right-hand man, Andrew Colvett, comes from Salem Media. Look at who's involved in Salem Media. It is a Christian Zionist outfit. It is in bed with Israel. You want to know how I know that? Melissa Straight used to work there. From Prager University. She also used to work for Unit 8200 in the IDF. That's where Andrew Colvett comes from. And he was Charlie Kirk's right-hand man. Charlie Kirk appointed Andrew Colvett to lead their struggle session about Israel after the Turning Point SAS conference in July. When Israel bombed Qatar in contravention of Trump's own foreign policy, who did Charlie Kirk invite on the show to do Hasbara and explain the party line? Ben Shapiro.
I understand that. If he was given false evidence, people would lose trust in him. But I just feel he should be asking the questions regardless, because I do feel like there's a crap load of stuff that has come up to the forefront to where questions should be asked, that the narrative that we're given from this administration should not be believed. And he would be that guy I would expect to be the first one to call it out. Not Candace Owens. And again, I'm not a Candace fan. I'm not a huge Candace fan. I'm a huge Nick fan. It's just, I think this is probably one of the worst takes I've heard from him. And again, I usually agree with him on everything, but this isn't it. But I understand what you're saying.
While Charlie Kirk played devil's advocate, he lended his platform to Ben Shapiro to give Israel's position. And on Wednesday, the day he was shot, Charlie Kirk met with his rabbi to prepare him to defend Israel at Provo, as he was writing his forthcoming book about the Jewish Sabbath. And this is the guy that was martyred for fighting Israel? If you think that, I feel sorry for you, because you are retarded.
Just so you know, a lot, and I mean a lot of people, because I actually watch him from his main channel on Rumble, and the amount of comments that I have seen who said we were groypers, you pretty much called your base that, like, one thing you don't want to call the people who watch you every day is retarded or stupid. And he kind of just did that. And I seen a lot of comments. And I mean, I went through them for a good 10 minutes and I probably saw 2 supporting comments. The rest were about 200 comments. Like, we effed with you. We thought you, like, we could trust you. You got the call from Israel. And people are going off on him. They're not happy about this take. And again, I'm still going to listen to Nick. He's my favorite guy to get my news from. But again, this is a very important topic. And I would expect him to be on the forefront in regards to asking the questions. And he's just not. And then for him to call his viewers who don't agree with him stupid or retards, you're going to lose followers, bro. That's just advice from me. And I know I'm a very much smaller YouTuber, so I don't have an opinion compared to him. But just seeing from a perspective, you calling your followers who don't agree with you retards, you're going to lose a lot of people while you get a lot of hate, which I've been seeing on Rumble. I looked yesterday and today, and a lot of people are pissed about this take.
Ian Carroll says, we're all over here. Where's our general? Where's our guy? I'm right here where I've always been, following the facts, following the money, looking at the information. That's what got me here, light years ahead of you, light years ahead of Candace, light years ahead of Tucker Carlson. Now all these interlopers are going to come in and tell us that our ideology is about Netanyahu and Israel's foreign policy and this kookery. No, sorry, absolutely not. That's totally ridiculous.
All right,
Ian
guys.
Carroll,
So I want to show you guys what Ian Carroll responded with. And he does lay out exactly the points and talking points we were given from this administration. And I'm sorry, I'm landing on Ian Carroll's side on this one. And again, I'm a fan of both of them, bigger fan of Nick, but he's definitely more on the factual side on this debate.
You're the Israel guy. You're our guy, bro. And we are now well into the moment with Israel, with TPUSA, with Candace, with the Trump government, with everything. And what's going on, man? Where are you at, Nick? Like, yeah, Nick is still doing his thing. He's still running his show. He's still being critical of Israel. But he's also doing the podcast circuit, basically running everything he can against Candace and against actual, like, factual information. I could understand if Nick was skeptical of Candace's sources, but Nick is straight up, like, not here, not there for the conversation about Israel in the way I think a lot of us expect and the way I think a lot of us were ready for. It's like arriving on the battlefield and your general is off.
Real quick, and not to mention that 2 days before Charlie Kirk's death, he said he was abandoning the pro-Israel cause and thought they were going to kill him. I know already talked about the killing text that was sent, I believe it was to Candace or a friend of theirs, but he literally, there was text proving this. And then they offered him $150 million, which he denied. He wanted to have this audit, which they denied. And it's just all of that craziness happening in one scenario. And I'm sorry, I don't trust Erica Kirk. A woman mourning the loss of your children's father, you should be at home with your children. You should not be on podcasts. You shouldn't. It's not a good look. All of this is just sketch to me. Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, Nick Fuentes, like this whole Charlie Kirk thing, I question everything, because if you lie to me about one thing, I don't believe you at all. And I feel like this administration is lying because they know Israel was involved.
Hanging out with Steven Crowder. Like, you're supposed to be our guy, bro. This is your moment. This is your moment on so many levels, dude. Where are you? You're on Steven Crowder disavowing the people that are actually out here taking on Israel, taking on the deep state, taking on the whole thing. And you're over here with Crowder. With Crowder.
Yeah, I don't like Crowder.
And we're going to get into all of these different elements throughout this show. And like, the world is not about picking sides, but sometimes when you look at the sides of an issue, it tells you a lot about the issue, and it tells you a lot about how, if you are thinking about a thing in a way that makes you arrive at the same conclusion as Tim Pool and as Steven Crowder and as Rabbi Shmuley and as all these other people. And to be clear, I'm not saying that Nick is the same as Rabbi Shmuley. And
that's a terrible comparison. Terrible comparison, y'all. If you know who Rabbi Shmuley is, he is a rabbi, apparently, who runs a sex toy shop with his daughter. Crazy, right? But these are supposedly the people who, after Charlie Kirk died, are now saying they were his best friends. Yeah, psych. I don't believe that for a minute.
How are you winding up at the conclusion of these guys? With all that you know, with all that you've called out, with your deep understanding of how Jewish donors control things, with your deep understanding of the history of Mossad and of the CIA, you don't even think there's a possibility? Not even a chance. And this is supposed to be your moment. This is supposed to be your rise. You're on the generational run, bro. And you have generationally run right to Steven Crowder's show to hang out with the Fed slop narrative for like kind of a facetious take on it. It's very confusing to a lot of us, and it's a bummer because I genuinely like you being here. I genuinely like that you challenge the conversation, and I'm genuinely impressed by what you've done with your platform and your messaging over the years. But like, I think a lot of creators right now are feeling the way I'm feeling and are just afraid to say it because we all know how the Groypers are. And we all know that Nick is good at holding a grudge. And that's cool. If Nick wants to hold a grudge, that's fine. I'm not stressed. But I'm just genuinely like, bro, this is your moment. And you ain't here. We're all on the front lines of battle for America, to save America from this influence.
Completely agree. Very curious what you guys think about this whole scenario. I'm obviously, like I said, a huge Fuentes fan, but I think he is on the wrong side of this whole scenario. Nick sees what's coming. He's only just broke containment. Just because Israel could have done it doesn't mean there's evidence to claim it. No, I get that. I completely get that. But what this administration's telling us is a lie. So if they're not willing to come clean, and Candace, who I'm not a fan of, but you got to give her credit. What she's exposing is crazy. I mean, the audit situation, the millions that were transported. I mean, today there was exposed that $5 million was given to Turning Point USA to supposedly, I don't even know, it was given to this Walmart building, and it was supposed to be a place where they were running. I don't even know. I'm going to have to do a different video on that because I have them saved in my X feed, but I can't go over there right now. But yeah, Turning Point is up to some shit. And the neocons hopped right on after Charlie Kirk died, saying that he loved Israel, blah, 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 blah. And I just think there's too many connections. If you have, like me, watched the Candace documentaries recently exposing and just seeing all the stuff she's exposing in regards to Charlie Kirk and like him not wanting to be with Israel anymore towards the end, him denying the $150 million towards the end, him saying 2 days before it happened that they were going to take him out. All of the lies in the Israel First shows jumping on board the minute this happened. It's just, there's too many questions. And that's what I do. I ask questions. And that's why we have freedom of speech, right, ladies and gentlemen? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be doing 2 longer live format videos tomorrow. I would have done it longer tonight, but it's kind of late. Hope you guys have a blessed night with you and your loved ones. See you tomorrow.